Good afternoon and welcome to the Embedded Executive Podcast. My name is Rich Nass. I am with Embedded Computing Design. My guest this week is John Grady, the CEO of Ayla Networks. How you doing, John?
I'm great, Rich. Thanks so much for having me.
My pleasure. So as I said in the pre-call, which I guess the audience isn't privy to, I had a history with Ayla Networks years ago, and it was a very good history, but we sort of went our different ways, and you have come into the fold here. I'm really happy to be re-engaging. So let me first start a little bit about you. How long have you been with Ayla, and where were you before that?
I've been with Ayla for a total of more than 4 years now. I just started my third year as CEO, following in the footsteps of Jonathan Cobb, my predecessor. Prior to that, I was at a number of green tech companies in sales leadership roles, at ChargePoint, the leading provider of EV charging solutions, and at Solar Mosaic, which was known for their solar lending opportunities. So spent a lot of my time there, but functionally speaking, have a fair amount of experience in product and strategy. But the last 10 years have been focused on sales.
And the 30-second elevator pitch of who is Ayla Networks?
Ayla Networks is the largest domestic, fully integrated consumer IoT solution provider. We have more than 60 brands and have activated more than 15 million devices on our platforms around the world. We have devices in 200 plus territories and countries around the world. And our customer base stretches from my backyard here in San Jose to New Jersey, to Boston, to Europe, the Middle East, and China.
And is your sweet spot in industrial, consumer, building automation, all the above?
No, our strike zone is absolutely in the consumer smart home. Now, occasionally, our opportunities, because of success in that area, extend into small business or distributed businesses. But for the most part, our go-to-market strategy has really been focused on working with leading consumer brands who want a differentiated, connected experience, no matter where they are. And that could be a service provider, it could be a retailer who's looking to deploy a connected platform for a portfolio of devices, or it could be an individual brand like DeLonghi or Shark Ninja, who bring a connected experience to market and then grow that substantially over time.
Okay. I think working in the consumer space is a nightmare, and I would not want to be part of it. So I don't envy you. You're talking about users who are anywhere from a seasoned engineer to a senior citizen that just want something to plug in and work. But you mentioned that Ayla Networks is very global. So let's talk about how you operate in different regions where you have to where the regulations are very different. How do you make up I was going to say make a product, but you're more of the what's the word I'm looking for? The backbone of the IoT. So how do you make that work in different places when all the regulations are different?
Yeah, you're spot on. The regulations, not just by country, but even in the US here, we're starting to see the emergence of different state regulations. And so we really satisfy the highest common denominator here, the most stringent rules. And today, that's generally speaking GDPR. Most of the other regulatory agencies are taking the lead from our friends in Brussels. And so we're reflecting that. But wherever and whenever those regulations change, we have a security team as well as personnel located around the world in 5 different countries who monitor that regularly and work with our customers, work with their factories to ensure that we're not just staying compliant, but we're anticipating what's lurking around the corner.
Yeah, that's what I was actually thinking. Do you have people who are on these boards who can help guide them to make sure that what they're doing is actually, well, we want it to be right for Ayla Networks. Is it right for the user as well?
Yes, we do. We have representation on a number of standards bodies and regulatory bodies and so forth. So we have a voice. I certainly wouldn't want to over promote what we are able to contribute, but we present, I think, a really robust view of consumers' issues and balance that with those of our partners. So yeah, we're at the forefront of that. There's no doubt about that.
When you look at all the various issues that you have to deal with, is security the one that's the hardest?
Yeah, more specifically, data privacy. And so we're really mindful of the data we're collecting, the protective cocoon around which we cover that, and making sure that our customers are fully versed. Because remember, our customers are getting into this connected space more or less for the first time. I mean, the business is still only 10 years old, really, if you think about the scaling that's occurred since 2016 and 17. And so they need to be educated as well. So you talk about educating regulatory bodies, educating consumers, and educating our customers, our partners. So there's a lot of engagement there across all three ecosystems.
Now, I should have known this, and I apologize that I don't. Are you part of the CSA, and you deal with the Matter specification?
We do. We support Matter. We're a big proponent of, frankly, anything that's good for accelerating the deployment of connected devices. And Matter has had its ups and downs. It certainly has its challenges today that are voiced in most of these forums. But we are very supportive, and a few of our customers do take advantage of some of the benefits that Matter provides. But I think it's also fair to say a lot of customers, either because of trepidation around the unknown or a firm belief and conviction in an approach that's alternative to Matter, look for alternative solutions. And so we're there to support either path.
How do we get past the notion of the end user just buying whatever is the least expensive?
I think it's twofold. One is this, I talked about this concept of differentiated experience. I think simplicity is a part of that, but really understanding and driving and articulating the value of that connected experience. And that fundamentally, the connected value proposition has always been around anticipatory break fix. So what's the device doing or not doing that it should be doing? Understanding replenishment opportunities, particularly for those businesses that have either new supplies or parts and services element to the value proposition. And then just extending the brand of that business. And I think some of our customers have done a really, really nice job in distinguishing good, better, and best by leveraging connected as a part of that best product portfolio. And so I think there's that piece. Clearly, simplicity has got to be at the forefront here, particularly as we had moved from early adopter phase, which generally speaking, as you alluded to, is populated by engineers, tech savvy folks, tens, if not 20 different connected devices inside the home. That's what we launched with. Now we're into this kind of mass market world, which is much more diversified, but is highlighted by a fairly unsophisticated, I think, end user who needs simplicity as part of the experience that they have. So I think those two pieces are really, really critical. And then I think the third piece, which we're just on the kind of at first base for right now, is what is AI going to do to enable some of these things? And consumers have, in survey after survey, shared a heightened level of discomfort with what AI might do. And so there's a really delicate balance that partners are going to need to navigate around delivering value via AI with the sensitivities that customers have right now around where that could go.
Boy, did you open up Pandora's box with that last statement. I don't even know where to begin with that, but let me back up just a little bit. Because you're providing the platform and not the end device, it's not really on you to do a lot of the things that you had just talked about. It's really on your customers to do the things that you talked about. Is that true? And if it is, how do you help them do the things that we're talking about?
Yeah, so we do it in a couple of ways. You're again spot on here. I think number one, we have a team in China that works with factories to understand the ramifications of what we do on the hardware. Number two, and perhaps most importantly, we own the experience. We're accountable for an experience, not just hardware, not just software, not just the mobile application, but how that experience begins and ends from the discovery phase to the configuration phase, all the way to the using and kind of updating phase. So we're involved in all those different steps with our partners in a very collaborative way. We have teams that focus on the what I call the holy trinity cloud, device integration, and mobile app. But some of our customers feel like they already have expertise in some of those areas, and so they don't necessarily rely on us. But just because we don't make the hardware doesn't mean we're not involved in it. Yes, the BOM and the components and all those things that go into making hardware are in the domain of the partner, but we get our hands dirty in terms of the collaboration we do with partners to that end.
Okay. I say to people, and it's probably true, I very rarely have an industry conversation that does not have something to do with artificial intelligence. And you brought it up, so let me go there. Here we are, it's the middle of 2026. As a consumer, should I embrace AI or should I be afraid of it?
You should embrace with caution. And I think there's still a lot we don't know. We should be fair about that. Number two, I think consumers are using AI in various parts of their life, whether they know it or not. It's already touching them. And I think the key here is to make sure you don't open the door too wide where bad actors, bad actions can take place. So I think it's, open that door just a crack and then slowly widen that crack over time. We see a lot of promotion, a lot of marketing, a lot of messaging around the powers of AI in different elements of the world. But I was at a conference just last month that talked about what's happening with AI in the smart home space. And the use cases are still very, very narrow. So I don't think we're there yet. Certainly, we're not to a place where they can be monetized. And so I don't think the expectation around consumers separating their wallet to embrace AI rather is upon us yet. But that's clearly the next step in this journey.
And as the platform, what are you doing to enable that?
So we do a couple different things. We're clearly using it internally to accelerate deployment of things. Our role is to enable. And so we enable that by delivering a better experience, an experience mirrored to the needs and requirements of our customers that we deliver more rapidly or in an accelerated way. On the mobile app side, we're doing a lot of things now that enable us to incorporate different devices and in what we call scenes so that consumers can really have a smart home as opposed to a smart device inside their home. There's a huge gap between those two definitions. And I think what consumers want to have is a single app that manages a number of devices and experiences inside their home, as opposed to a phone that's littered with 20 different apps that manage different devices in an unintegrated manner.
So separate yourself from Ayla for this next part. Just as a CEO in the industry, if you're looking at people who are graduating from engineering school now, are they looking at not having jobs because those jobs are being done by artificial intelligence?
No, I don't take that kind of draconian view. I certainly read about it in the headlines and so forth. In our trials, we've certainly found that those more senior engineers derive the greatest benefit from coding tools, right? And I don't think that's not breaking news. I think what will happen is the training of engineers in universities and graduate schools and so forth is going to evolve very rapidly so that when they graduate or when they leave their schools and enter the workplace, they're going to have a very different profile than the ones that, for example, graduated 5 years ago. But I don't think this is a death knell for engineering any more than I think spreadsheets or the PC was a death knell for CPAs or people who dealt with numbers 20 some odd years ago, 30 years ago. So I think it's just a reorientation of a set of skills, a set of tools, a set of knowledge that will help your graduates become more relevant in the job market in an AI world. In the near term, will it be disruptive? Unequivocally. And I think, you see that in the hiring stats from colleges. My two children graduated from college in the last couple of years and saw a noticeably tighter market, in large part because of the uncertainty essentially associated with AI. And so I think companies, including Ayla, are looking at ways to rationalize the deployment of AI in a favorable consumer impacting manner. And that's going to have a derivative impact on university hiring and engineering hiring.
Very good. Thank you very much, John. I appreciate you taking some time to educate the audience.
Rich, thanks so much.
That was John Grady. He is the CEO of Ayla Networks, and I'm Rich Nass with Embedded Computing Design.